So many blockchain projects aim to specialize in specific use cases, such as Bitcoin, where it is currently acting as a store of value, Ethereum, where it serves as a computing platform to enable smart contracts, and then you have something like Stellar Lumen, which is mainly focusing on acting as a medium of exchange with low fees. Now, each of these networks are not alone in their goals, as other blockchains aim to accomplish the same objectives in their own way. And this is where we start to see competition in specific fields, specific sectors, and specific use cases within crypto. Now, it's important to look at a number of factors in order to decide for yourself which project is worth investing in over the other numerous competitors, right? We don't want to just blindly follow somebody on social media, or even myself. I'm not here to tell you, what to invest in. I'm here to help you learn how to decide what is worthwhile and really doing the research on your own. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at a breakdown between competitors in the field of smart contracts and smart contract capability, looking at Cardano and Ethereum. So the success of the Ethereum Foundation with the innovation of smart contracts and decentralized applications has prompted other project teams to implement similar features. Many blockchain network teams have made promises regarding the development of smart contracts and smart contract capability, but few have come as close to actually developing and launching smart contract capability as Cardano. The Cardano Foundation has announced that they will launch the Alonzo upgrade on September 12, 2021, which will introduce smart contract capabilities to the blockchain network. So here's just an example. This is actually found from Twitter. As mentioned before, Charles Hoskinson is the head of Cardano, the founder of Cardano. He previously actually worked at the Ethereum Foundation and was one of the original co-founders and original members of the team that helped found and start Ethereum back in 2014, 2015. And here is his announcement, essentially with input-output. This is the development team behind Cardano. This is their announcement of the Alonzo upgrade, which will bring smart contracts to Cardano. So some other considerations regarding Ethereum versus Cardano include network congestion. Currently, Ethereum is seeing record-breaking usage, while it has declined in more recent times due to the overall cryptocurrency market decline and pullback observed in 2022. It's still significantly higher transaction fees and network congestion at times compared to other blockchain networks. And a main part of this is because it has not yet fully completed its planned network upgrades, right? Currently, Ethereum can process 15 transactions per second, while Cardano can already support hundreds of transactions per second. This is subject to change as Ethereum continues to go throughout its update schedule. It was previously called Ethereum 2.0, but now it's called Consensus Layer. This is essentially a transition from Ethereum mining, proof of work mining, to proof of stake staking, where the basic simple way to think about it is that it's a shift in how transactions are processed, right? And how consensus is achieved, where we can all agree, oh, that's a legitimate transaction, that's a legitimate block, that's the basis of consensus. Ethereum is shifting to a much more efficient way that they'll be able to handle the current load, so to speak, of the amount of users and amount of transactions that they're being overwhelmed with at the current time. Now, Ethereum 2.0 proposes that the upgrades will improve transaction speeds to 100,000 transactions per second, while Cardano's proposed Hydra protocol upgrade could see the network process up to 1 million transactions per second. Well, it is important to see the transaction capability of each blockchain. We also want to keep this in context of the actual use of each blockchain, right? Does it matter if the blockchain can handle 1 million transactions per second if there isn't the demand for it, or if there aren't transactions, or isn't the use for it is not quite there yet? So that's something to consider as well. Currently, Ethereum is the main blockchain for decentralized finance, including lending and borrow protocols, decentralized exchanges, NFT creation and trading. Most of it is happening on Ethereum. Yes, Cardano and Solana and a few other chains are growing in that field, but for right now in 2022 even, Ethereum is still king. Now, there are other factors to consider as well when we're comparing blockchains. We also want to consider the date founded. So Ethereum went live in July 2015, whereas Cardano launched in September 2017. We can also look at the founding team, the creators. So Ethereum was founded by Vitalik Buterin and his team of co-founders that include Charles Hoskinson. Cardano was founded by Charles Hoskinson and Jeremy Wood. We also want to consider the general project vision. What are they hoping to accomplish? Now, Ethereum was created to be an open source, decentralized computing platform to facilitate the creation of decentralized financial products and services beyond money. It's not intended to be a store of value, while it arguably can be, especially in 2020, in 2022, I should say. But the main idea was to create this platform that we can create decentralized financial products and services. Now, Cardano's primary function is to allow transactions in its native currency, which is ADA, and to allow developers to create secure, decentralized applications on its network. Cardano focuses on research-driven approaches to design and innovation. So we do see similarities in the general project vision for both of them, but there are differences in how they plan to achieve those goals. So here are some clips from the Ethereum website. If you have not gone to the Ethereum website, I highly suggest that you do. It's really well made and very informative on how Ethereum works and other bits of useful information for someone who's learning about the field and learning about Ethereum. Here is their definition. What is Ethereum? The foundation of our digital future. It's open access to digital money and data-friendly services for everyone, no matter your background or location, which is the basis of DeFi. And here are just some various staples of their services: banking, a more private internet, a peer-to-peer network, compatibility for the win, commerce guarantees, censorship resistant, and some various use cases. Continuing on with the theme of decentralized finance, non-fungible token creation, DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations. There's a lot of uses for Ethereum. DeFi gaming as well. There's a lot of different uses, and that's continuing to grow, and there's more use cases and ways of using this new decentralized technology to create things that really haven't been thought of in the past. Now, taking a look at Cardano. So ADA, in this situation, ADA is the native token of Cardano. It's named after Ada Lovelace, a 19th century mathematician who is recognized as the first computer programmer and is the daughter of the poet Lord Byron. And if you notice, a lot of Cardano's, their different phases and a lot of their updates will be named after these famous poets and scientists and mathematicians of the past. So Cardano asks itself, what can I do with ADA? And here we see this, it's a basic summary of Cardano. It's a digital currency. Any user, ADA is the digital currency, I should say. Any user located anywhere in the world can use ADA as a secure exchange of value without requiring a third party to mediate the exchange. Every transaction is permanent, securely, and transparently recorded on the Cardano blockchain. So this is their way of processing transactions and their basic idea of their blockchain and how their blockchain runs. And they also talk about how every ADA holder holds a stake in the Cardano network. ADA stored in a wallet can be delegated to a stake pool, and they talk about their staking pool. One of Cardano's highlights is how decentralized it is, and how much of the circulating supply that's being held by users are actually stored in wallets and staking pools, where it's not necessarily being used for transactions, and it's taken out of supply to be put out of the circulating supply to be put into the staking pool, where it's arguably locked and it's not being traded, it's not being used for transactions. It's actually just being held for the long term. Other factors to consider: the launch and distribution. So Ethereum was launched by the Ethereum Foundation, a nonprofit company, which sold 72 million ETH in its initial coin offering to raise $18 million at the time, back in 2014-2015. Cardano is supported by the Cardano Foundation, which oversees the development of the blockchain. Input-Output, IHOK, that is the development team that has built Cardano and has designed the proof-of-stake mechanism, how they're processing transactions. And then Emergo, which helps promote Cardano adoption. That is the Cardano marketing team. Now, about 31 billion ADA were created at launch, and 26 billion were sold to investors by a Japanese company hired to oversee the sales. This is all back in 2017. So we see Ethereum is older, right? Arguably, I mean, by 2 years. In the long run, this gap won't seem as big, considering Bitcoin has really only been around for about, we could say, maybe 12 years, give or take, maybe 12 years, arguably 13 years. And just seeing a difference between a company that's been around 7 years, a blockchain that's been around 7 years versus one that's been around 5, it may seem like, Ethereum has such a head start, but really it's only 2 years, and we'll see that gap continue to close as time goes on and as development continues. We also can consider the network design. So Ethereum enables the ability to create and deploy smart contracts onto the Ethereum blockchain, creating the foundation for many different types of applications and services available in the Ethereum ecosystem. Ethereum currently uses proof-of-work mining to process transactions, but it's in the process of migrating to a proof-of-stake model as part of the Ethereum 2.0 updates. Cardano, on the other hand, already uses a proof-of-stake model called Ouroboros to process transactions and is continuing to develop its smart contract capability. They're in the process of also increasing the block size and the block times to accommodate more transactions, and it's something that is currently being monitored, as the block sizes currently for Ethereum can allow for many transactions to be put onto a certain block and then added to the blockchain. Right now, Cardano is slowly ramping up their block size over time to allow for more transactions to be placed on the blockchain. We can also compare the two blockchains based on tokenomics. Cardano has a circulating supply of about 32 billion Cardano. The total supply is 33 billion, and the maximum supply is 45 billion. So we see differences here. So there's a maximum of 45 billion that will ever be made. Currently, there is 33 billion that are made in creation, and 32 billion of that is in circulation for public sale and public use. That means there's about 1 billion Cardano that's left maybe in the Cardano Foundation's reserves that are locked away and for whatever purposes, right? So this is an indication that most of this is circulating, and there's still about 12 billion Cardano that will be created over time. Ethereum, on the other hand, has 117 million ETH in circulation, or circulating supply. The total supply is equivalent to the circulating supply, so there's 117 million ETH in total that's in creation at this moment. So all of Ethereum is in circulation, and then the max supply is not yet acknowledged. So there is no necessarily maximum supply as part of the Ethereum Foundation. They made an outright statement saying that there's no need for a maximum supply as of right now for their purposes and goals. Remember, Ethereum is really focusing on creating a platform for smart contract and decentralized services, a platform that other projects can be built upon. We look at something like Matic, we look at something like MakerDAO or Compound or Uniswap. These different decentralized platforms that offer services, they're all built upon Ethereum, where Ethereum is not just a token, but it's really an ecosystem where there's many different platforms, many different tokens, many different systems and services that are operating on its own blockchain network.